Welcome into the CHGO White Sox post-game show, coming to you live from the CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. We're in Studio A. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me are the boys. That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Check out allchgo.com for his brand new article about what Rick Hahn had to say. You left us. Last time we were doing a show, you had to go.
There's reporting to be done.
And you went 10 feet into that glass box, and you did your little reporting. We got to get you a little reporter's hat.
With a little press card in it.
Yeah. See? And that's Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. Shout out to our pals in the chat, Matthew and Fred, who basically say the same thing, but flipped. The trudge to 100 losses continues. And then Matthew saying, will the Sox win 62 games this season?
Matthew is more of a glass half full kind of guy. He wants to know how many wins there will be. Fred, glass half empty, wants to know how many losses there's going to be.
Both bad, though.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Not a good answer to either. I think it was probably a good answer to how short was this game?
1 hour and 58 minutes.
Oh, really?
Pitch clock for MVP.
It started apparently like at 7:07 or 7:09, so yeah, quicker than we had initially imagined because it was supposed to be a scheduled start at 7:05, but it ended at 9:07 local time. Baby, keep this momentum going.
Honestly, I think that actually raised their grade up for the trade deadline just a little bit. Maybe we turn that, B to a B plus.
I mean, we had Jake Berger. We know he would have, probably hit a home run like a jerk and wasted time. That'd been like 2-3 minutes.
25 seconds.
Go around the bases.
His sprint speed's high. We'll recap all the trades in a second, but no, I think the White Sox are just going to basically play home run derby with these teams. Just say we're both going to see how far each other can hit it, and we're just going to, because
I don't know. Did you watch the home run derby? It took forever. It was way longer than an hour and 58 minutes.
Well, hey, this may be what the home run derby should be. Is just
pitch clock in the home run derby.
18 guys trying to hit as many home runs as possible. All right, let's jump into recapping the trades. We got some Rick Hahn audio from you. We also got some Jake Berger video, and we'll get your reactions as well to the trades. So make sure you're sharing those. Hit the like button and subscribe to a CHGO Sports YouTube channel as well. Appreciate that, and we appreciate you viewing. Started all on July 26th after the Cubs-Sox game. After the Cubs took 2-2, we were heading back on our little yellow school bus with all the people and all our CHGO dice cards. And Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez were traded to the Angels for Edgar Caro and Kai Bush. Kind of surprising. We didn't expect it to be early. And it was kind of hit us pretty quickly there on the bus. Then on the 28th, while I was seeing Barbie, Kendall Graveman to the Astros for catcher Corey Lee. Then we saw Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly just, 45 minutes, an hour later, get traded to the Dodgers for Trace Thompson. He's back. Right-hander Nick Nastrini, who Rick Hahn brought up today. And then also right-handed reliever Jordan Leisure. Then on the Then today. Then they waited and saved all of them for today.
There were three today. Three trades today.
First off, it was Jake Berger. Happened around 3:45-ish, 3:50. Craig Mish first had the report. Jake Berger for left-hander Jake Eater. And Herb's now trademark joke, Burger Eater.
Yep.
Jake Berger Eater.
Yep. The Jakes.
See, you're not really that happy about the joke now.
No, no.
That's why I gave up the joke. The joke sucks.
No, I'm sad now.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to be attached to that for the rest of my life.
I'm trying to break
telling terrible jokes. That is my life.
That's my life, too. I mean, what else are we going to do? We're talking about the White Sox baseball. I mean, that's like...
Real quick, guys. Framber Valdez, no-hitter.
Against the Guardians?
Yeah, against the Guardians.
Let's go. That counts for two in my book.
You think the Astros are fired up?
Oh, man. Got their mans back?
Also, fun fact, guess whose preseason AL Cy Young pick was Framber Valdez?
Yours?
Wow.
Look at you. It's been bad, I think, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win it this year.
He's not going to win the Cy Young, no. But he did throw a no-hitter. How about that?
I mean, you could pick Domingo Germán. Domingo Germán is a perfect game.
I didn't pick him.
Booty for the rest of the year. He's got a 2.90 ERA.
Framber's been fine.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah.
Is it who's?
Probably Luis Garcia. Who's
Garrett
hurt
Cole's
now.
probably going to win the AL Cy, or probably the favorite at the moment to win the AL Cy Young.
Yeah, Gosman.
Cole's been really good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I really don't. I didn't think we were talking AL Cy Young.
No.
But the other trades that we had, sorry to get cut off. Keynan Middleton to the New York Yankees for Juan Corella.
Yeah.
Corella. And then this was not a trade. you wanted to clarify this is an acquisition. This is not a trade. Luis Patino was acquired by the Sox. The Rays get cash, right?
Well, they already have cash. He's their manager. Thank you. We'll be here all week.
Hey, we all tell terrible
yes.
jokes.
That's pretty good.
But that was actually good.
Yeah. They acquired Luis Patino for Kevin Cash considerations. Kevin Cash's consideration was that Luis Patino was in AAA.
Mercy.
So.
I know I've seen the Cash considerations jersey. Just put considerations. No one puts the full
That's
name
much
on there.
better than the Burger Eater one. That was good, Vinnie.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, it was actually a good joke.
It was also not the
Off the top
fourth
of the dome,
or
too.
fifth time that we've told it today.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny the first time, and then it really wasn't funny this fourth time. So then let's tell it
We're
a
going to
fifth
run
time.
that shit into the ground.
Yeah,
I'm
honestly.
going to tell it one more time at least before we leave.
I think we just did, kind of. All right, let's go into Rick Hahn sound, and then we'll talk about those trades, those acquisitions, and what it means for the 2024 Chicago White Sox. Here is General Manager Rick Hahn on the state of the 2024 Chicago White Sox post.
When you're going through these discussions internally, is there, after what you've seen the last few years, whether it's injury related, performance related, whatever, just given the results for team wide, what they've been, what sort of consideration is there to trying to shake up this core in any way, if there is one?
You don't shake something up just to shake it up. That said, it obviously hasn't, what we've put out there hasn't worked the last couple of years now, or hasn't worked since at least 21. So there's absolutely consideration and dialogue and various permutations that we've played with that have a different look going forward. What exactly that's going to be come the 24 season, there's a lot of time between now and then to put that all in place. But just as it would be foolish for us to enter this trade deadline period and not talk about the entire roster and understand the value of our entire club, it'd be foolish for us to essentially say, nah, it's going to work better next time with this same group.
Looking ahead to next year, what is the vision? Is this a rebuild? Is this a modified version of a rebuild? Exactly what is the vision for next year and what?
No, I don't think we're quite. You were around when that was asked after the last trade, I think, and my answer hasn't changed significantly in the last 3 days or however long it's been. It was very clear, obviously, that 2023 wasn't going the way any of us intended, and we entered this deadline knowing that there were players that we would be best served by moving on from and restocking the farm system. Obviously prioritizing arms, getting guys at premium positions like Caro and Lee were of importance to us. And none of us wanted to be in this position, but we all felt very good about, or all feel very good about what we were able to accomplish once we accepted the fact that this is the position we are in. We still have many impactful talents in Chicago. We still play in a division in which no one has really run away and hid in. Certainly competing for the postseason is viable in 2024. In all candor, sitting here on, an hour or 55 minutes after the trade deadline just ended, proclaiming this is how we're going to get there in 24 isn't exactly our mission. Over the last several weeks, it's been put ourselves in the best position to execute this deadline effectively. We feel like we've done that. Quite candidly, going back 3 weeks to the draft, this entire month has been about putting the Chicago White Sox in as good a position as possible as we can going forward. And based upon what we were able to do in this year's draft, and now what we've been able to do at the deadline, the organization is much, much stronger for 24 and beyond. Precisely what that looks like in terms of the big league level in 24, let's get to the end of the season and assess everything, performance of the players who are here at the big league level, what we've got now, the minors, what our assets are going forward. And then, as always, I think you will hear directly about what the plan is for the people in charge.
I guess at the time that you said that, I think Sox fans maybe had the feeling that things were going to change, and then you're still in this same spot. That's why I'm asking that.
Well, we've traded, I don't know how many guys off the big league roster. Things have changed fairly significantly with regards to player personnel. Again, unfortunately, because it didn't play out the way we wanted. In terms of other significant organizational changes, those tend not to happen in season. So we'll see what the future holds.
And I get the sentiment months behind saying, hearing this guy gives me a headache, same blah, blah, blah. I feel like you picked up on that sentiment when you shared the response to your first question on Twitter. But this wasn't more of the same, because especially in the last two responses, what we were trying to kind of show was Rick kind of left it open to whatever. I mean, it's not his choice to step away. I know before he said, if I'm not doing a good enough job, I'll step down or something along those lines. But again, he has one of 30 very coveted jobs. I would be very shocked if Rick Hahn ever left that very nice position that he's working in. So what did you make of him, especially with the back and forth with Chris DeLuca, where he was trying to say, like, is anyone going to face the consequences of this team failing and being in this position in 2023?
I don't know Chris personally, but I don't think he asked the question. He was trying to beat around the question. Ask the question directly if you want to ask Rick. But the him and Hahn, like, nothing's changed. And Rick said, yeah, we've changed the whole team. What do you mean nothing's changed? We've traded a bunch of players. We've got a bunch of new draft picks. And so, Rick was, answering the question that Chris was asking. I know where he was going, but he didn't ask it correctly and didn't ask a direct question. I applaud him for, answering how he did, and it might have got a little contentious there, but, Rick's not going to fire himself, and it's up to Kenny and Jerry if Rick continues on this job. I've already let my feelings known on that, but as far as what he had to say, I mean, let me just say this. What would you expect him to say? And I think what he did say in this, 25 minutes, was pretty telling to me. Like, he told you exactly, kind of where the team is going, and then his status is not up to him. I like to get on Rick every once in a while when he does poorly. I think today, his trades, the conversation he had with the reporters, the man was on his game. He was all right.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Sean, what you were alluding to was the comment I made to you before the show, which was, here's an instance in which Rick Hahn did provide some answers. Doesn't mean they're the answers you want to hear, but he did provide some answers, and yet everybody's like, this guy never says anything, because you've all already made up your mind about Rick Hahn for the most part. He is obviously the choice target of the frustrated fan base this year. Not saying he shouldn't be, but that's what it is right now. And I think there's a lot of people who only want to hear two words from him right now, and that's "I quit." And I mean, I think that's been the case since April, because I think I've used that same line before, many months ago.
Yeah, I told the Rey Mysterio Chavo Guerrero thing about WWE I quit matches. Yeah, we've done it.
But today we did learn some stuff, and we learned that they plan to, or they hope to, they think they can contend for at least a playoff spot in 2024. Again, up to you to determine whether you think they're actually going to succeed at that, but the point being that they're going to try. And I think there could have been a sell-off of much more dramatic proportions this trade deadline. There could have been a new rebuild launched, even if it wasn't one that was going to take 3-4 years like the last one did. And that wasn't the case. They are eyeing, attempting to field a contender or a competitive team at least in 2024. We learned that today. I think we learned that core that everybody wanted, that not everybody, but that a lot of folks wanted to see get broken up last offseason. Certainly, I think the two of you would fall into that camp of the core players, most of them position players, but a couple of pitchers on there too. I think we learned that could very well get broken up this winter. I asked Rick, directly, kind of like, what was the consideration of shaking things up this trade deadline and into the future? And he said, you don't shake things up just for the hell of it, but look, this isn't working. And so we can't keep going into it saying, oh, it'll just get better just because. And so I think, the idea is that it's far more likely that you'll see a move like that involving someone like Eloy or Yoan or TA or heck, we spent all day talking about whether Dylan Cease was going to get traded. Maybe that's more likely to come this winter than it was last winter. These are not certainties by any stretch of the imagination, but they are things that we've learned, and we can point to the front office saying those things so we can hold it, we can use it as a roadmap to go through as we continue to judge them, not just the rest of this season, but into the offseason.
Yeah, and the roadmap seems to be, let's acquire a ton of arms. That seemed to be the MO in their trades today, getting Jake Eder, getting
Luis Patino, and then now I'm blanking on the kid's name from the Yankees.
Corella. And then also Nastrini was a big package and the big get of the Dodgers trade. Also, Kai Busch was the secondary piece, but also an interesting piece of the Angels trade. Rick, again, I would like him to be fired. I feel like we don't need to keep saying that over and over again.
Like that. Well, you guys are too nice. I'm like, he did well today, guys. I'm like, I gotta give credit when it's due. Oh. I just can't be on him all damn day. And you could tell the man's down. I don't need to kick him when he's down.
Yeah,
and he understands he hasn't done the job.
I said, I gave him a B today.
Yeah.
Well, what did you guys think of the return for the trade deadline? Because obviously being in this position is bad. I was even going to say the question, when he says, we want to contend in 2024, like, of course. Like, what are you going to say? Like, oh, yeah, we want to suck. We want to go out there and just absolutely suck and stink and be bad. No, I mean,
of course, they're not going to say, he's not going to say anything different. But but he didn't say we're going to take a step backward to prepare for 2025. You know what I mean? Not saying that is informative, I think.
But I didn't, I mean, the biggest thing that I took away, and obviously it is a fair answer, but John Greenberg was direct and said, what's the budget going to be like for next year? And he said, we don't know. That isn't a conversation we had yet. That would be the thing that I wanted to know, if they did have a direction, and if he was going to say, it will be consistent with the window or the years that we were in with the window. I think maybe what it is more illuminated of is the first thing we talked about is maybe he doesn't know his job security position. I would be surprised if he is fired, but I mean, maybe it isn't his choice. And he did say that Jerry's upset, just like everybody else is upset.
There was a question you asked before we derailed again there of judging what the trade returns were this time around, and yeah, they look good, but I think you can say two things at once, which is, yeah, they, according to the prospect rankings and what the evaluations are, it seemed like they got some guys that over the next few years could come up and help them. Mm-hmm. But they've done that before.
They have.
Well, to add a little bit more context, like before the year, their prospect ranking was 26th. And I think with this return, Kyle McDaniel said, dependent, and this was on Saturday, of what they get, you could probably be a top 10 farm system. And I think, he said they were around 12th. I think with the ads that they got from the Marlins, Patino, and I don't know if he still counts as a rookie with the amount of games he's played, but you could throw in the Yankee kid as well, Corella, my bad. They're probably going to have a top 10 farm system, so they've made a jump.
Which would be very nice for them. Mm-hmm. But again, I think the point is that now we're seeing everything through the lens of how this got here. And when you say, oh, they did a good job, look at all these young guys they got. Good for them. You can project them down the road. Well, sure, but the whole rebuild was getting young guys like this that were highly rated, that were top 10 prospects in other farm systems. And, there were the ones who ended up in the big leagues, your Moncadas, your Jimenezes, your Kopechs, your Ceases, right? And then there were ones that we don't remember. I mean, remember it was a great thing to get Ryan Cordell, and it was a great thing to get, Casey Gillespie back at the time, and it was a great thing to get these little guys here and there. Oh, that might be something, that might be something, that might be something. It doesn't always work out that way. And then, too, when it does work out, and all these guys do make it to the big leagues, they're 22 games under 500 after not scoring any runs today, with a lot of those guys in the lineup. So I think a big takeaway from this, and Rick even mentioned it a little bit, saying, we can talk about why people are mad, what's gone wrong, what we're trying to do to fix it. I believe it was along the lines of, I could articulate the greatest plan for moving forward in the world. It doesn't really matter until they start winning. And he's right. It doesn't. Because when until they are better, all the comments are going to look like this. And once or if they were to get to the point where they're winning consistently, none of the comments are going to look like this. I mean, that's what matters in this business: winning and losing. And you keep asking, are they going to make a move at GM? What's Rick's job status? He pointed it out earlier in the year. In this industry, in general, the expectation is you win, you keep your job; you lose your job. Heck, sometimes if you win the World Series, you lose your job if you're down in Houston.
Right. If the owner doesn't like you.
But
the owner likes him.
But we also have the history to go on at what happens at 35th and Shields.
Yep.
Regime change is not common.
Not at all.
And I think something to remember throughout the early stages of the rebuild, we would ask Rick, frequently it was about, are you going to sign a free agent or a big price free agent kind of thing? And he would bring up the idea that there's a narrative that they don't do that or they don't like to do that, right? And he would say, well, look at all these other narratives that existed before about this team that we disproved, right? Never would we launch a full-scale rebuild because we had, their MO for so long was just throwing a few free agents at it and trying to get there. Never would they make a big trade with the Cubs because of the, jealousy or, little brother syndrome or whatever. And, look, we did that, beneficial for both sides kind of thing. And he would say there are other narratives that exist, and I believe usually they were in the spending category, and it's on us to prove that is wrong kind of thing. Any narrative that everybody's saying, Jerry would never fire so-and-so, the White Sox will never go out and spend X amount of dollars on a pitcher, They would never break up this core because they've already spent on it so-and-so. Those narratives exist for a reason. And it's on them to break it. If it's not true, if that's not how they want to operate, they have to show it. They have to do what they want to do to prove that those things are wrong. And above all else, they need to win. If you think the roadmap to winning is them going out and spending $100 million on a pitcher, for example, right? And you can sit there and go, they never do that because they never have done that. Well, guess what? It's not on the person who's complaining to be right or wrong in that situation. It's the White Sox needing to actually do it. They need to squash the narrative themselves. And so if anything moving forward, you think, the White Sox will never do that, go ahead and think that. The White Sox are the ones that need to bring an end to those narratives, not the people who are talking about them.
Yeah, and I can have empathy for what they went through this offseason where they were thinking, okay, 81-81, just bring the team back, make a couple adjustments. And like I said, in the offseason, they might have thought their offseason was the right process because what happened last year is an anomaly. All we'll do is just tweak up a little things and we'll be right back to winning baseball games in this AL Central. But no, 22 games below 500, and you can see it on his face. It's weathering on his face that his vision and Kenny's vision has failed. The grand scheme is gone. And now I don't know what it means for his job status, and I've said it time and time again. He needs to be fired because of accountability, just for accountability's sake, not for the person not having a job. I want him to be employed because he needs to feed his family and such. But I don't know where the team goes without him. The thing is, they're just going to hire some other yes dude or some other dude who might be a yes dude that's not qualified for the job. That doesn't mean I want him to stay. He should be gone, but they shouldn't hire, and we'll get to this if it ever happens, they shouldn't hire Chris Getz because he's not ready. Same thing with Jeremy Haber, same thing with Kenny Williams Jr. or whatever front office staff that's in the White Sox system. The one thing that Rick does well is this: selling off his players to other teams and getting great value. I think he hit the ball out of the ballpark for this one. I give him an A. The only reason not A+ because Clevenger's still on the team, and you said in the pregame or the trade deadline special that maybe other teams didn't want him because Clevenger's a 5 and dive pitcher, even though he's doing well this year, and then all the baggage he has with his off the field stuff. So that would have been an A+ if he had found a way to offload his contract. But I have no qualms about what he did. He executed the plan. And you were talking earlier about Lucas Giolito, and we were surprised how early it happened in the process. As we see, he had a lot of things. He had a lot of irons in the fire, and he was doing a lot of work to get this White Sox team where they need to be on the other side of the trade deadline. And so to get the players that they got and trade off the, 6, 7 players that they did, I think it's nothing but kudos to the White Sox front office for doing what they did and making this team slightly a little bit more palatable going into the future, because you have some starting pitcher prospects. You have a couple catching prospects, even Corey Lee, who might be on the team this year. And you have a wild card in Luis Patino, who I think could be a nice addition if you get the hands of Ethan Katz on him and he actually pitches the ball over the plate, like we talked in the pregame about Gregory Santos having the same wildness before he got to the White Sox, and now you see that guy is a closer in waiting.
Just to jump in here, and I don't know if it really matters, the Cubs have hung a 20 spot on the Reds.
Wow. It's hard to do.
Oh, there's more. I'm just looking at the reflection. It's another home run going out.
Oh, no,
you got
right
caught.
at the track.
Oh, goodness
20
gracious,
to 5.
Reds.
We got 3 singles today, though.
What's that?
We got 3 singles today.
White Sox got
We
3
got
singles.
20 runs.
Oh, 3 singles. Oh,
The White Sox. I was going to say, I'm married, Steven.
I thought he was talking about money. I thought we won like a bet or something. That would have been fun. I thought your points are fair. I don't know if I'd give him an A, but I'd give him a B. Like, there's no one that I'm like, oh, that's the guy, right? Like, I think that Eater's is really interesting.
Yeah.
Nestrini's interesting, but no one that is like, oh yeah, for sure, like flawless prospect, right? They're guys that all have something that's just a little bit off, because again, the guys that they were trading weren't perfect players that they were trading off. Like, they didn't get rid of a Dylan Cease that would have gotten a possible Jackson Holiday return,
a Grayson Rodriguez,
a Grayson Rodriguez return. Thank you. You never know, folks. But yeah, like you look at the actual top 100 though. Colson seems, from what Kylie McDaniel said, like this could be a star. Like, this could be a top 10 MLB prospect next year, and that's very exciting looking at this. Caro, he might not be a flawless prospect because it's not sure if he'll stay a catcher, but he's also down in Birmingham and he threw out 2 guys today. So, hey, that's not bad. Noah Schultz, right? Like, he's a guy that is going to be a little bit longer of a development. He might be in a 2026 contention window, maybe. He's probably going to be like 23, who like Luis Patino is, who he's a former top prospect, and he probably won't rank on this chart, but again, an interesting guy that maybe the Sox can unlock. Nestrini's 5th. It seems like he's a more clear starter than Kai Bush's, who's 7th. They've upgraded their farm system, but again, like, I thought your point about narratives is very true. Like, they tried to sign Zach Wheeler to a $125 million deal and go and spend it on the pitching, but it didn't happen. And are they going to keep trying to defeat that narrative, or now that they're 22 games under 500, is this just kind of dead? Like, what is next for the White Sox? We'll take a break and try to figure that out, because it might just be the next narrative to squash is, let's get someone new in here. And I think your point, Herb, that Rick Hahn has done a fine job getting out of this is fair, but it's just this position being in just absolutely sucks for fans. Let's let you know about Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. You want to go feel good? Why not go to Sunnyside?
Always.
It's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kind of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. They are a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs, no matter where you are on your cannabis journey. They have easy online ordering and in-store pickup, and great transparent loyalty programs. Sunnyside Rewards, Illinois' favorite dispensary. Herb, where's your favorite?
My favorite is Friday from the people at...
No.
Oh, where's my favorite?
Yeah,
Wrigleyville.
Okay.
It's right by
Where
the
they're
house.
putting up 20 runs?
Yeah, we're right by the house, right on Clark Street. Easy in, easy out. Pretty good, pretty solid. And there's one right here in River North that I've been to a couple times too.
It's not too far of a drive to Elmwood Park. It's
I don't know where that's at.
You don't know where Elmwood Park is?
In Lawrence Benedetto's hood.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
It borders the city of Chicago.
To get some Johnny's beef. Delicious.
And it's
get some Johnny's beef and then get some Sunnyside.
It's a quiet locale compared to the Wrigleyville one. So, hey, whether you want to drive, I think there's some up even near Wisconsin. So
South
that's
Beloit.
where Mario could go, all the way up near the border.
Mario lives up there.
Doesn't he?
Ugh.
Yeah, he's like right by the border.
Isn't he in Wisconsin?
Ugh. Sorry,
I don't
Mario.
think he's in it. He's close to it.
Every day. Driving down here?
It's brutal.
It's tough.
Yeah.
That's dedication, too.
But Herb's favorite is the Fryes, and that is from the Good News. They have gummies, rechargeable vape pens, and carts perfect for great moments with the crew. And they have more in-house brands like Mindy's, Cresco, High Supply, Floracal, Wonder, and Remedy. Through August, that's right now, head to sunnyside.shop and use code
How do you spell
that, John? Yeah.
cough. Use code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer, not stackable with other promotions. And that's not only for new customers. Anyone can use our code. Again, code is CHGO25, not cough, at checkout for 25% off your total order. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med Card holder. Do I have to say card holder if you have an Illinois Med Card?
I mean, I would think you would hold it. I don't know where else you would do with it. So the
Necklace?
people could see it.
Wearing it?
Like wearing your middle Illinois Med
An
card
ID
around
card?
your-
Yeah.
just all day long. Yeah, hey guys,
Look at my card.
my back kind of hurts.
I'm a card holder. Hey,
I can smoke weed.
You know where you have a little card, a little ID holder? College, folks. Go sign up for Lewis University.
Transition.
Students are just like you.
no.
It's fine enough.
I don't know if you stuck the landing on that one exactly.
We're mostly talking about White Sox baseball, so maybe we just get to that, and I could use my bad transitions, folks. Sorry, I was just goofing. Students are just like you at Lewis University. They have full-time jobs, families, full-time sports fandoms. They're writers wearing a chess T-shirt.
What?
I haven't seen that. I don't know. I was
The
just trying
chess
to,
records?
They
Chess
said
records.
they're just
Chicago's
Chicago.
very own.
It's the students are
2520 South Michigan Avenue.
students are just like you.
Just like me.
You know,
What?
just like you.
Me?
You go get that shirt at chgolocker.com.
Michigan.
Go back to school to earn a respected degree at Lewis University. 35 miles south of Chicago and Romeoville, is ranked as one of U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. If you're looking to complete your bachelor's degree or master's degree or enroll in a professional certificate program, Lewis has the right program for you. Our guy, Jay Zawoski, who works here, who is just like us, went to Lewis University. I have a cousin, Maggie, who didn't love her first choice in school, and then went to Lewis University to complete her bachelor's degree. And now she's making big moves. She's moving up in the world. She was working at one hospital, and she's like, hey, that's not working for me. And she's now got a better paying job because she's so damn cool. She's got a Lewis University degree. So I'm very proud of her.
I feel like we all know cousin Maggie.
Yeah, who doesn't? You also know my guy Ashish, who's got his bachelor's degree over in India. Now he's over here getting his master's degree at Lewis University, and he's the cashier over at my 7-Eleven. And he's the most friendly man I've ever met in my life. It's insane. Lewis offers several career focus.
He doesn't sleep, apparently. My man Ashish is doing work.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Well, he's
working at 7-Eleven and going to school?
He's got,
Goddamn Ashish.
He's and he's nice.
Yeah,
it's like three jobs.
And it's that's a win right there.
Discover how a degree
Amazing.
from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu, the letter, .edu/YOU can do this. lewisu.edu/YOU can do this.
And remember, too, free marketing opportunity out there. You get the Lewis University folks hire Luis Robert Jr., Lewis University. It makes too much sense.
I like it. And then they become they're the Flyers, right? The Lewis Flyers.
Yeah, the Flyers.
I'm not trying. I know they're a sponsor.
You can get your aviation degree there.
Oh, I don't know if it's aviation maintenance. You can maintain an airplane.
But you can get your aviation degree there.
You can?
They fly all the time at Lewis University. Yeah.
Are you
fly all the time?
Are you
I'm
goofing?
No, I am serious.
Wait, but Herb, the example, the evidence that you provided to back up your point made no sense.
What?
You can get your aviation degree at Lewis University. They fly all the time over there.
Okay, hold on. They have a College of Aviation Science and Technology, but can you get your degree?
Yeah, that's it. Jay didn't go for that because he's not a.
So they have air traffic control management.
Okay.
aviation administration,
Okay.
aviation and aerospace technology,
Okay.
aviation flight technology,
Okay.
aviation maintenance technology, unmanned aircraft systems. I don't think those are.
Those are drones.
Those drones.
I don't think any of those are flying.
The third one.
Pilot's
I'll tell you what,
license.
though. Can I tell you something? The
What?
amount of Lewis University alums who work at O'Hare Airport just must be through the roof.
Oh, absolutely, and probably Midway. Too.
Probably Midway, too.
Probably,
Yeah.
probably.
Andrew Page.
Probably executive.
They got
Milwaukee.
I think they got a Gary, Indiana airport.
Name them all.
All right.
Miggs Field.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Miggs Field.
Oh mercy.
Mayor
Was
Daley.
I even around for it?
What a
I've never
jerk.
even heard of that.
No. It happened during your lifetime.
No.
In the middle of the night, old Mayor Daley just had people.
Two. Mayor Daley, two.
The second one just went in and had his crews just like X out all the runways. Yeah, and just destroyed Miggs Field.
Now it's Northerly Island.
Yeah.
Really?
In the middle of the night. Gangster as hell. Oh.
I have never.
That's quite the Chicago story. You should
Yeah.
look it up.
Oh wow.
Not currently. You could read about it later.
No,
but yeah.
2003. Oh, I just wanted to get a date.
Yeah.
I just went, okay. No, I never heard of that. I've been to Northernly Island.
Yeah, sure.
It's fine.
Welcome to, thank you to Mayor Daley.
Yeah.
It's fine.
The second one.
It's nice.
It's fine.
There's some forced nature out there. It's nice.
It's fine. No. I've been to 2 concerts. It's fine.
No, not the concert venue. You keep going. There's like a little nature walk out in the lake. It's
And
very
then you
nice.
can see inside to the great skyline.
No. All right. Well, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've only been there for a concert. It's fine. That's fine. Okay. Let's talk about Jake Burger.
All right.
So let's first hear from Jake Burger. He talked about getting traded from Chicago. A lot of people upset about Jake Burger being traded. Kind of took them from surprise. They put out the lineup. Jake Burger was playing second. And then we hear that he's being sent to Miami. And here was Jake's reaction.
Yeah, it happened really fast. And it's been a long journey with the organization. A lot of good memories, a lot of bad memories. So, I'm just grateful for the White Sox, the organization for believing in me when it didn't seem like a lot of other people believed in me, and the fans believed in me coming back from injury. So, it's a lot of good memories here, and it's my son got to see me play in the White Sox jersey first, so. But on the flip side of that, going to Miami and get to play, make a push for the playoffs, and, in the wild card hunt. I'm really excited to, play my heart out for Miami as well.
And Miami's getting a great one. Jake Burger getting choked up there about leaving Chicago, talking about how that was the first jersey his kid saw him play in. Very, 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 very sweet stuff from Jake Burger. And Rick Hahn kind of echoed that as well in his press conference, just saying this was a baseball move, and trading a player of Jake's just kind of personality and his charisma is real tough. And
brutal. You called it brutal.
Yeah, and he's good at baseball too. So what did we make of Burger going out the door? Because that does seem like the big discussion. We had it obviously post-trade deadline, but now, especially with Rick's comments, does the baseball side of this make sense?
I think so. I mean, I think you're talking about a guy who does one thing very, very, very well and hit home runs, but it's a possibility that they still don't have room for him. I mean, he might have been a square peg in a round hole at second base if that's the future that they had in mind for him. Who knows if that works out very well. This is a guy who, let's give credit where credit is due, didn't make the opening day roster because he didn't have a position, came up pretty quickly, played the infield pretty well.
Yep.
And I don't think any of us really expected his defense to be as good and as consistent as it was, be it over there at third base or any of the places they tried him out, including second base the last few days. So if you look at the long term, though, it doesn't look like Yoan Moncada's going anywhere. It doesn't look like Andrew Vaughn's going anywhere. It doesn't look like Eloy Jimenez might be going anywhere, given the contract situations of certainly the first and the third guy I listed there. Where does Jake Burger play? And if the best answer you can give me is maybe second base, I think maybe that speaks to the fact that they had a surplus of guys like that, right? A surplus of guys who were corner guys that couldn't necessarily play up the middle. And they decided to perhaps sell high on a guy who was having a very, very good season at the conclusion of what he mentioned, a very long journey for him. I mean, the story is great. You can see why he was getting choked up. It's kind of the same reason that Lucas Giolito told me that he had such loyalty for this organization, because the White Sox were there for these guys every step of the way, and to allow them to go through the ups and some pretty significant downs of their careers, and come out the other end successful major league players. And I can guarantee you Jake Burger didn't want to leave the White Sox. And so it is a baseball move, but certainly people should be voicing their displeasure with seeing a guy of that personality and just a guy like that, a presence in that clubhouse, depart, because he was, as you said, a good one.
Yeah, and to speak on your point, that Jake Burger had the 2 Achilles tendon tears, and the White Sox stood with him. Yeah, he's a first-round pick, so what else are they going to do? They're not going to cut bait. But Jake can see that on the other side. It's like, man, they've been waiting on me for X amount of years. All these other people have passed me by. They've drafted over me and got players over me, and they still stuck with me. And yet, like Vinnie said, he didn't make the opening day roster because he didn't have a spot. Guess what, people? He doesn't have a spot right now. Yes, second, he's been playing decently. I wouldn't want Jake Burger to play excess 100 games at second base for my Major League Baseball club.
Andrew Vaughn in right field all over again.
Exactly. Right. He might get to every ball that he can, but there's going to be so many balls that a regular run-of-the-mill second baseman could have got to and could have made the play. And so I am sad that the player and the person is gone, but getting back Jake Eater, I'm good with that. If you look at his stats from 2021 before he had Tommy John in 2022, guy was filthy. Sub 2 ERA. Came back this year. He's got like a 4 ERA, but he's been working his way back from that Tommy John surgery. And his last start, I said in the pregame, it was 5 innings and 10 strikeouts. And so he's limiting the walks like he has had earlier in the year. And now he's more pinpoint and getting more used to his body. And I think it's just going to continue on that path for the White Sox. I don't expect him to break camp with the White Sox next year or even come up early in the season because of this Tommy John that he had, and he's still building up strength from that surgery. But to get a guy that most people think this guy might be something, he might be decent. He's 6'4". You said he has like a 70 grade on his slider. I'm thinking that Rick probably went into today's trade deadline not looking for moving Jake Burger, but he got the right deal and got the right person, and he said, hey, I got to make the moves that are right for the White Sox, and if that means Jake Burger going to the Miami Marlins and we getting a player that can help us for the next years on by, I got to do it, and I'm in favor of the trade. When I saw it first, I was a little shocked, but then I started thinking about it and talking to people who know better than I. They're all in it. They're all in for it, and they're all good for it. So it's hard to have Jake Burger go and his wife Ashlyn and his kid Brooks, but we all have TVs. We all have the MLB package. You can watch Jake Burger on the Miami Marlins go for the wild card all you want and root him on that way. It sucks that he's not going to be on a 22-game under 500 team like the White Sox. I'd rather him go out and pursue his dreams and help them win a World Series again.
All right. Sorry.
That'll be their third, and that would tie the White Sox.
Ew.
Yeah. They've been in the league since the 90s.
I hate that.
They do a lot of rebuilds.
Yes.
Down there.
Yeah. Immediately they'll win a World Series and then
win a World
completely
Series,
just
start
get
the
rid of
rebuild. Let's do it again. Right.
Yeah. Oh, man. They had Miguel Cabrera.
They did.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
I saw him when he was a Marlins minor leaguer, when he was
good.
the shortstop for the 2001 Kane County Cougars.
You remember the year? Golly.
That big old man was a shortstop.
Yeah, he was skinny.
He was very skinny. Yeah.
Him and A-Rod and Barry Bond. These guys just get.
Yeah, but
so
Miggy
big.
went wide. The other guys went wide, but with some extra. Miggy just got because he ate some delicious Detroit food apparently.
Miguel Cabrera and Adrian Gonzalez in the same lineup on that low A team.
Oh my
How about
God.
that?
Did you know? I know Miguel. You probably knew.
He probably had like an 85%.
This is slightly less
Yeah.
impressive because those guys were both very, very good. But also in that same team, Josh Willingham, who ended up in the majors, hit a few home runs as well as a Minnesota
Was Charles
Twin.
Johnson before or after that?
Well before.
Okay.
This was several years after the first Marlins World Series win.
Good team. Want to let you know. just to play devil's advocate, I was going to go into an ad break. I had a whole point that I wanted to make about Jake Burger.
Go ahead.
I'll do that, and then I'll take the ad break.
There you go.
Did they trade the right guy? I understand your guys' point about his defensive positioning. We brought this up, didn't make the opening day roster. We talked about this in spring training. He might never play third base again. Well, here he is playing third base and now even playing second base. But a lot of people are kind of questioning, and we brought this up, like Jake Burger's got proven power.
Yep.
Andrew Vaughn really doesn't. Like, could they have traded Andrew Vaughn? This is from The Beef on Twitter, at Mr. Delicious13. Jake Burger versus Andrew Vaughn with homer stat, or walk stats. Thank you. You look at March and April, 72 plate appearances for Burger, 7 walks. In May, 65 plate appearances, 0 walks. In June, 95 plate appearances, 4 walks. And then July, 91 plate appearances, 11 walks. 11 in the first 3 months, and then he doubled it in July. For Vaughn, 123 plate appearances, 13 walks, 117 plate appearances, 7 walks, 104 plate appearances, 8 walks, and then 65 plate appearances in July, 1 walk. And also Burger too. More homers. I don't know.
Many more.
Huh?
Yes. Many more.
Many more. I just feel like Burger has just come up here and he's talked about that one quote. He goes up and it's like 20%, 30% mental, and the rest is just kind of reacting. And that really does seem like the difference between him and Andrew Vaughn. And maybe that will click for Vaughn, but Vaughn really does seem like a very meticulous, very like thought-driven guy, to the point where I think his athletic instincts are kind of pushed down a little bit. He's not. There's times where he's read and react, and he's hitting sliders off of his shoes for home runs. But we don't see that all the time. Like we saw that in April, and we really haven't seen that Vaughn since. I don't know. Is there a whole? They traded the wrong guy. I mean, it was Burger the right guy to go. Would you have rather see Jimenez or Vaughn go?
No, I think they think that whatever they got out of Jake Burger this year is gravy, and the fact that he had 25 home runs was awesome, and so we're going to trade high while his value is at a level that we weren't projecting it to be. They still think there's more in Andrew Vaughn, and I think we all three agree that there has to be more of Andrew Vaughn, because we heard the scouting report coming out of college that pretty much his bat plays coming out of college right now in the major leagues, and we've seen that from time to time. And so I don't know what Jake Burger's going to do in his career going forward, but I don't know if you can project this season again and again and again and again. And that's what the White Sox maybe were scared of do we hold on to this guy who doesn't have position but can pop the ball out every once in a while, or do we get something for him because next year he's not going to be on team? And, yeah, maybe people are calling on for Andrew Vaughn, but we've heard that he's might be an untouchable for reasons that we've already given. He was, the third or fourth draft pick overall. He's supposed to be a top-notch hitter. This is only his second real full year of baseball playing in the majors, and his first full year of playing at first base. And I know these are excuses, and Beef is probably throwing things at the TV if he's watching. But I think there's more upside to Andrew Vaughn than there is to Jake Burger. So if they would have traded Vaughn, I would have had a problem with it, but I don't know what you get. I don't know if you get the same player. And because he's not having a great year, at least you could say the 25 home runs for Jake Burger, that can be good for a team. I don't know what Andrew Vaughn does on 2023 White Sox that somebody says, hey, come on over here, we'll give you the same player in Jake Heater.
We also know historically that Jake Burger only homers at Guaranteed Rate Field, so I hope they bring that with him. Hopefully he can play his games in Miami somehow in Guaranteed Rate Field. That would do good for him.
He can zoom in. In for his at-bats. Yeah.
That'd be fun. They should figure that out. Let's chat final, and then we'll wrap this up. And make sure you go read Vinnie's article at allchgo.com about what Rick Hahn had to say. And hit the thumbs up button, too. We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone hanging out and sharing their thoughts in the comments. Is there any other moves to be made? We saw Elvis Andrus start, and I kind of was bemoaning that before the game. Is it possible they DFA Elvis Andrus? Is it possible they DFA Yasmani Grandal? I don't understand the point of those two players finishing out the season with the White Sox just because of their age and what does this team need veteran leadership for? As we already discussed, you're either going to be glass half full and see this team as 62 wins, or glass half empty and 100 losses. What's next for the Sox team?
I don't know if they're going to DFA both of them, but they've shown the propensity to do that early in the year with Jake Diekman and other players last year, like I forgot his name, Dallas Keuchel. But it's only 2 months left.
He's available.
I know he left the Twins system, but I don't see any usefulness for the two players to be on this team unless the White Sox see their leadership, specifically Elvis Andrus, to be for the younger cats. Like if they bring up a Lynn Sosa or a Jose Rodriguez or even Zach Remillard, who is 29 years old, maybe Elvis has some encouraging words, some things when they're on the field that he can shine for them and, de facto coach and not really playing a lot. But I'm sure Elvis wants to be on a team that might be competing like he did last year with the White Sox. So a DFA for him might be in the future. And same thing with Yasmani, even though he signed a long-term deal for 4 years, it'll be kind of weird to see a guy at the end of that. When he signed the deal, was the largest contract in White Sox history, and at the end of it, they just release him, and it's just gone. But if both or either one of them gets DFA'd, I would not be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they keep both of them to the end of the year just for reasons. When Corey Lee comes up, I think the choice is obvious. You either send down Sebi, which I don't think he has any more options, or you DFA Yasmani. And that's much easier to DFA Yasmani and have Sebi be your backup for years to come.
Yeah, you need a reason to do these things. Obviously, fans are frustrated watching guys who aren't producing, but they've gone far beyond the point where they need everybody to produce to win. They're not going to suddenly DFA a couple of guys because they need to go win 40 more games over the next little run here over the next 2 months. So you need a reason to do it, and you bring up Corey Lee coming up. Maybe if there is a roster crunch because you want to try out a new catcher, a guy who might be your catcher of the both immediate and long-term future, that would be a reason to maybe move one of the catchers that you have on your roster. Are you telling me that the little bit that we've seen of Lynn Sosa and Zach Remillard and Jose Rodriguez, if he's even, I don't even know if he's ready to come up again, but, demand that playing time be opened up for them at the big league level, I don't know if that's there for those guys quite yet. Corey Lee, they've seemed committed to giving him that playing time and giving him that run already. But, just to say, I'm a fan and I'm sick of watching this guy play, I don't think that's a reason to DFA somebody. But they might have reasons beyond that actually do make an impact.
Right. It's less about that for me. It's just more what even Rick said. This organization is much, much stronger for 24 and beyond. What that looks like at the big league level in 24, let's get to the end of the season. Obviously, they're just trying to end this season, but I don't picture Yasmani Grandal being on this team in 2024. I don't picture Elvis Andrus being on this team in 2024. If it is about 2024, let's try to get players who might be in the system in 2024.
It's a good reason. It's a good reason, but I think as player development goes, those guys need to be ready for that test. And they have determined apparently already that Corey Lee is probably ready for that test. Is Jose Rodriguez ready for that test yet? I don't know. Is Lynn Sosa has gotten some run at the big league level, not a lot of it, but some. And what is their opinion on him? It might be different than their opinion on Corey Lee. Is all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, especially with Rodriguez being in Double-A. Absolutely. Final thing, and we'll wrap this up here. Lance Lynn, first 4 innings as a Dodger, 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks. He's got 10 called strikes, 10 whiffs. He's just
strikeouts weren't a problem.
He's MFing dudes left and right. It is the ace, but he's having a fun time.
Hey,
he's thrown 42 four-seam fastballs. because why not? All right, Lance Lynn's having a fun time.
And then tomorrow, early game for Lucas Giolito versus the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Tough.
Lucas versus the Braves. We'll see how he does. That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Actonwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. And I'm Sean Anderson. Follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. The break. Yeah, Pins and Aces. Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of All City and CHGO. They're going to be helping us out on August 25th for our CHGO Kickoff Classic. You can buy tickets at allchgo.com. They got a badass polo that they're going to give out with us for the event. They're a family-owned golf and apparel business, and they make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and even our favorite beer sleeve, an innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers right inside your golf bag and keep drinks cold the entire round. Check out pinsandaces.com and use code CHGO to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. That's it, folks. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Give us a thumbs up button on your way out. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing the show. Nicholas.
Stephen Nicholas.
Necklace. My mouth is so dry.
That's better than Alexander, which I called him, I think, one time.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten Steven Alexander from you guys. And
Steve.
You called me something else right when we first started this whole thing, Sean.
Steve.
It was something. All right, anyway. Let's
Steve.
Let's wrap it up.
Bye.